it's Jess. Welcome back to my channel. This is Dexter. Dexter is my 11.5-pound, 12-year-old Alaskan Klekai. He is a little bit sleepy right now because I just woke him up from a nap. Hi, baby. Hi. If you saw my goals video this year, you know that one of my major goals is to read my physical TBR. This week I am in the mood to read some thrillers, so I thought it could be fun to let Dexter decide what thriller I'm reading. He is not looking happy right now. He's so mad that I woke him up, but he's about to get a treat. So that should make him happy, right? I don't know if Dexter's actually been formally introduced on this YouTube channel. Everyone on my Twitch knows him, but I don't think I've ever actually formally introduced him. This is Dexter, and he's going to pick the book that I'm going to read in this video. I'm gonna go pick 3 books. I'm gonna put some treats on them and we will see which one he goes for first. You should see that in the next clip, and I hope you enjoy the vlog.
Okay, so I have decided that yes, I am in the mood for a thriller. So I actually picked out 3 different thrillers that are by authors I've never read from, which is exciting. Please ignore how dusty my bookshelves are. Ooh, they're not doing good. I swear that once I take these Christmas lights down, which I promise will happen eventually, but like, who knows when. But once that happens, I'm gonna like take all the books off the shelf and do like a deep bookshelf clean. Like I do that every year after I take my Christmas decorations down, but they haven't been dusted since I put the lights up. Don't judge me, okay? It's just dust and dog hair. I'm right in front of my bookshelves, you can see on the floor over here. I didn't want to put this like by my desk or by the door because once I put the treats on them and I let Dexter come in here to choose, I didn't want it to be that he was just gonna pick like the first book because it was like the closest to the door. I am still worried he's gonna do that. I might like shift them over that way a little bit more. That was my theory and my plan. I don't know how well that worked out. I'm gonna go get the treats now and then I'm gonna shut the door, put them on the books, and then open the door and let him in, and we will see which one he chooses. Okay, he knows I have the treats. He's literally gonna open the door himself in a second here. Oh, literally, here he comes. Okay. I don't... You're so good. I don't have it in my hand. Oh! You sniff it. Oh, you found it! I thought you were gonna go for the middle one. Good job, buddy. Can you find the others? Okay, well, I thought he was gonna go for He Started It, but he picked the Simone St. James. I'm telling you, he's so smart, and he has an amazing nose, but his eyesight is starting to go a little bit. There you go. You got them all, buddy. Good job. I will talk to you when I have something interesting to say about this book. Later.
Hello, good morning, friends. If I'm looking a little worse for the wear, I just did a really long stream and I've definitely been rubbing my face and I'm sure that my makeup looks extra crusty. I did just want to give a little update. It is the next day and I am roughly 100 pages in. I think I'm like 112 pages, something like that, into the book. And so far, I definitely am enjoying myself. I'm liking the book. I do wish it was like a little more fast paced, but okay, I want to make this clear. This is not a criticism of the book. I do not think that the book is paced poorly. I don't even think the book is paced slowly. I just was in the mood for a faster paced book than this is. So it's definitely like
just a me thing. It's absolutely, there's nothing wrong with the pacing of the book. The whole book takes place like kind of around this old school. It was basically a school for troubled girls. Really, they're not troubled, they just have like issues that they either didn't know how to deal with at the time, or like mental health problems that like they just didn't even know what the diagnosis was supposed to be. You know what I mean? It's basically the school that people send their daughters to when they don't know how to deal with their daughters. So the past timeline is set in 1950, and the school is already like old and decrepit and like broken down at that point. Like they never have any money for new resources. So like the school opened in 1919 and they haven't gotten a single new textbook. Like nothing has been updated in the school that entire time. There's no resources for it. So these girls are not really learning anything good. And there's all these rumors that the school is haunted by this ghost named Mary Hand. Honestly, the past timeline is pretty creepy. Like it's pretty creepy. I don't know necessarily if like the ghost is real or not, but the book is doing a really good job of being very creepy and making me think that the ghost is real. The way everything is described is very atmospheric in that you can just feel like the dampness and like the rot and the decay of everything just like falling apart around these girls. And there's bugs and there's mold, and it is nasty. The past timeline is also made even more interesting by the fact that there are 4 girls and you get different chapters with different perspectives. So it's like you'll have a chapter with a girl named Katie, and then the next chapter will be in the present day, and then you'll go back and it'll be like 1950 again, but it's a different girl. So in the past, you are following these 4 girls, and I do think it's interesting that you get all 4 of their perspectives. All of the girls definitely seem interesting and unique and have their own personalities, and they also have their own trauma. They're all at this school for different reasons, and I do kind of like this theme of like broken girls. I think when you're growing up as a girl, or as someone who presents like a girl, someone who is socialized as a girl in America, I think we all experience these moments of brokenness where it just sometimes hurts to be a girl. And I think that is something that maybe not everyone will get, but I do feel kind of a sense of camaraderie and connection with these 4 girls from 1950. So far, the book is very dark thematically, and it does discuss like some dark topics. At the point that I'm at, nothing graphic has happened when discussing like the girl's trauma. I do think this is a book where you should look up the trigger warnings, but I will say that in my opinion, at least within the first 100 pages, when it comes to this like girlhood experience and how all of us are a little bit of a broken girl, and all of the different types of trauma that exists within the framework of girlhood, I think the book talks about it in a very empathetic and respectful way. I will say that all of these girls at this school are white. There isn't really any intersectionality going on. I just did want to mention that because while I'm out here saying like, yeah, every girl can connect with this, well, I think that's true. I did want to mention that like this isn't going to be like a nuanced intersectional look at girlhood by any means. And then in the present day, you are following a woman named Fiona. She is in her early 30s, and 20 years ago, her sister was found murdered on like the field hockey field of the school. So the present day is set in 2014, and then her sister's boyfriend was tried and convicted of the murder, but just some of the facts of that murder never really like sat right with Fiona, and so she's kind of always been like obsessed with the case because she's like, something isn't right here, like some things are not adding up, even though they did get a conviction on him. Oh, did I mention that Fiona is like a journalist? I don't know if I said that, but like she's a journalist. Basically, Fiona is just obsessed with her sister's case. Like she cannot let it go, and it definitely has some detrimental effects on her life, her obsession. Here's the thing. If this happened to me, well, first of all, I am the older sister, so I would be dead, but if this happened to me, like, I get it. I think I would be fairly obsessed too. I genuinely do not know if I would be able to heal from something like that. Logically and from like an empathetic point of view, I understand Fiona, but it does not make her an interesting character to read from. She just kind of feels like very flat and one-dimensional at the moment. Like that's just it. It's just her obsession. That might change as the story goes, but it does not make for entertainment while reading. And so it's like, I get it. I don't necessarily want to say like, oh, you need to be more entertaining after your sister was brutally murdered. But I do think that's why I am enjoying the past timeline currently more than the present day timeline. Also because of the creepiness. The ghost shit has got me. The ghost shit is good, and it has got me hooked, and I am liking it. I'm liking it. I'm digging it. What starts everything going, though, is somebody buys the land that the school is on, and they want to like start renovating the property. And because Fiona's a journalist, she wants to do a story on like the renovations and like why someone's buying it and stuff like that. And so she starts working on that, and then they find a body. I would say that like as of right now, it's sitting around like a 3.5 star, but I definitely think and hope that it will go up. Thematically for me, this book is at a 4-star already with like the themes of like girlhood and stuff like that. It's just that there hasn't really been anything like there isn't any it factor at the moment. I'm gonna go read until I fall asleep, and I'll talk to you later.
Hi, hello. I'm laying on the couch reading. I just got out of the shower, so I'm letting my hair dry. This is not an ideal position to let my hair dry. I should be sitting up, but also I'm tired. I'm so sorry for the weird angle and lighting. This is what you get. This is what the lighting is like in my living room at 2 a.m. I just finished chapter 26, and this book is bonkers. Like, there was just a reveal that I would have, like, literally never seen coming. I would have never ever been able to predict this. I mean, okay, so let me clarify. Technically, I could actually have predicted this. There is enough within the book that you could technically predict this, but at the same time, it's so bonkers that you just never would. You absolutely never would have predicted. Like, why would you? Why would you? Thematically, it also does make sense in relation to the themes of broken girls and girlhood and sisterhood and how women connect with each other and how girls connect with each other, and also how and what we do to survive, and also how women betray other women. So, like, thematically, it does fit, but that does not stop it from being just absolutely bonkers in a good way, but absolutely bonkers. That's what I've got for you. So, I'm currently on page 237. So, I have less than 100 pages left. I definitely am gonna finish this today, so I guess I will just talk to you later.
Hello, hello. It's several hours later. Well, it's a lot of hours later, actually. And I finished The Broken Girls by Simone St. James. This book is definitely a success. Overall, I think I'm going to give it a 4-star rating. I don't think I really have much to say that I haven't already said. I do think that overall this book was definitely paced on the slower side of thrillers. I don't think that is criticism, but I did just want to mention that I do think while we gain more knowledge and the book gets more and more interesting the further we get into it, I do think the pacing is pretty consistent throughout the entire novel, so I did want to mention that. I did also want to mention that I know before I was talking about how the main character Fiona in the present day of the story is not like a super fun character to read from her perspective. I wanted to mention that, like, the further the story goes along, the more and more interested in her as a character I became. Her storyline definitely gets more complex and more interesting the further you go. It just, takes over 100 pages to really do anything. I wouldn't necessarily say there's a tremendous amount of growth from her as a character, but, like, first of all, it is a thriller, so I don't necessarily know that, like, character growth matters as much, especially when you consider that the entire book in, like, the present day takes place over, like, a couple weeks, so that really isn't enough time for any serious character development anyways. However, I do think that Fiona makes quite a few, like, personal revelations and epiphanies, and I think that you can see where she is headed, like, mentally and emotionally, and how she will be able to heal moving forward in her life. I also want to say that, like, this book is definitely very, very satisfying. I think things wrap up in a really, really, like, tight, concise way. Everything just, like, feels really good and really, really solid at the end of the book, which I think is really important in thrillers, at least, like, for me as a reader. I like to feel satisfied at the end. That's not to say that I don't enjoy a thriller that has an open-ended ending because I do like thrillers like that, but I still want to feel satisfied whether it's like a finite definite thriller ending like this one or whether it is like a more open-ended one. I think there's ways to make both of those satisfying, but this absolutely was satisfying. And then again, like I've been saying throughout the whole book, it's just really, really great thematically. I loved it. I loved the themes of girlhood and how we all interact with each other. And I don't know, that's definitely like a topic that I just don't get tired of reading. I think it's like a really, really great, well-crafted, well put together book. I'm probably gonna let my mom borrow this. I'm not gonna say anything else about the plot of this, obviously, because it's a thriller. And honestly, there's like actually a whole subplot that I never even told any of you guys about. Well, you could argue like two subplots, but one of those subplots involves the family dynamics of Fiona and her family. And I think that, I don't really know if I'd consider that a subplot because it's all wrapped up in like the death of her sister, so like all of that is very integral to the same plot. But yeah, I don't know, I don't really have much more to say other than that. I think it's great. I think it is very well crafted. The themes resonated on a very personal level with me. I felt very, very connected to the story, and I think it's great. It's a 4-star read from me. I'm definitely going to be reading more from the author. Oh, and also the ghost stuff is so creepy. Like, oh God, the ghost stuff is so creepy, but like in a really good way, in a good way. Yeah. It was a really, really nice touch. I liked the ghost. Yeah, I like that. So yeah, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and spending time with me today. If you liked this video in particular, I do have another dog. His name is Echo. He is also an old man, but he is 37 pounds, so he is much more difficult to hold in my lap and show on camera. But if you do want to see me do this video again, I can let Echo choose my next book. So just leave a comment if you would like to see whether Echo or Dexter knows my personal book tastes better. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. I believe next week's video should be an unhaul. I hope that you stay warm. If you're living in the US, it's pretty cold here, at least in Ohio today. I hope you stay safe this week, and I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye!